भूमिका अदा करें। प्लीज ओवर टू यू सर।
Thank you, Dr. Manish, and thank you, Dr. Saurabh Gupta, for such a wonderful and lucid presentation. And he touched upon so many aspects, so many dimensions and perspective. Actually, he started with the broad framework of Marxist theory, and then he shifted to educational philosophy and pedagogy of oppressed. This small booklet of 160 pages, which was published long back, almost 54 years ago, and 52 years ago, English edition was published first time. And still we are discussing, because it has that kind of content. Still scholars, they are quoting the work of Paulo Freire. And later on, actually, Dr. Gupta, he actually one by one took so many aspects of the theory, and he discussed this theory in the context of development communication. Then he moved on to media, how political economy and mediated hegemony. He discussed about Noam Chomsky also, and in the last, theater also he touched upon. The theater is his core interest area. He's publishing a journal on street theater also, and very briefly he talked about the implication of Freire's thoughts on social media also in the contemporary context. One thing is very clear, that Paulo Freire is talking about education in a very different manner, and broad context is Marxist theory. I'm just quoting his two lines. Literacy is about reading the world. Literacy is about reading the world instead of reading the words only. Means he's talking about uh, more in deeper context, that literacy and education is not only memorizing few words, few texts taught by the teachers, but it is all about learning the world. And this entire pedagogy is highly questionable. Very interestingly, if all the media teachers and scholars and all students, if we look around us, and we can easily relate to the incidents, to the examples given by Paulo Freire, that even today in the classroom settings, when we as a teacher we move into the classroom, what is the expression of our students? How many of them they are able to question on the topic? They are simple receiving the text, receiving the content, whatever is being delivered. And still in 2022 scenario is almost same, because where from they are coming? They are coming from the schools where from the first class only, focus is on just memorizing the things. Focus is on getting marks. How this entire scenario can be changed, it, this is questionable. This is highly problematic area in Indian context also, where the guru Brahma and these all things are actually discussed in a very different context, that guru is very important, and the value of teacher is very important, and questioning is considered as very negative connotation. If you are questioning your teacher, then you may be taken in a different manner. uh, Paulo Freire is talking about culture of silence also, where masses is muted. Masses is not allowed to participate in the broader public sphere. And nowadays, during last 2 decades, and especially during last 1 decade, when the entire digital revolution has happened, and we have all witnessed the transforming public sphere, transforming educational sector, transforming content creation also, where Twitter, where YouTube, and so many other platforms are now available. we as media academicians need to look at it very critically, that how the thoughts given by Paulo Freire, they are still relevant. And that was the topic also, that during the year when we all are, entire world is remembering him during the centenary year, how we look back to his ideas. Of course, scholars are still discussing about his thoughts, because even after the advent of digital revolution and internet and all, lot of content, information content is there. As Professor Gupta, Dr. Gupta was saying that information is abundance of information is available nowadays to the students. But can we say that now the ideas given by Paulo Freire are irrelevant? I would say no. Information is there. Information is there, but there is huge digital divide existing in terms of content creation. If you compare with the Western world and Asian world, most of the content is being created, almost 80%. This is the data. Almost 80% of the online content that is produced by the, controlled by the, created by the Western countries, American creators. And who are the passive receivers? Asian countries, Latin American countries, they are the passive receivers. And another question is, how much content is available in their Asian languages or Latin American languages, in non-English languages? That is also a question. How many people they can afford? So this way, digital divide debate is there, and same kind of model where oppressed, they are passive receivers. They don't have enough knowledge, understanding of the content. They don't have say in the content creation. They don't have facilities also. Like we Indians now, Indian government is also talking about digital India and Vishwaguru. But how many of us are able to create content? Of course, we can, being a teacher, sometimes we give lofty examples of the villagers who are creating content on YouTube and earning in lakhs. No, of course, YouTube is there. But if we look at it from the broader perspective, you would say that these big conglomerates, American conglomerates, Google, Meta, these companies, they are earning out of that. We are the free content creator, and hardly 2-3% of that earning is actually distributed among the YouTubers. The same is with the media education also, that education is changing, no doubt, education is changing. But when we give the assignment to the students, they are simply Googling the content and downloading it, and without understanding that they are submitting their assignments. That has become a major challenge before the higher education in India and across the globe. Sometimes they don't even read what are they actually reproducing. And all examples, all contexts are Western. So that way, still, despite all digital revolution, digital transformation or disruptions, scenario is pathetic. Scenario is pathetic, and we need to look at it very critically. Of course, Indian scholars also talk about consciousness. If we look at go through the ancient Indian texts and ancient Indian scholars, all of them, they are talking about consciousness. Like Buddhists, Buddha also says, Apo Dipo Bhava. Self-consciousness is one of the very core goal of human endeavors, actually. But at the moment, how many of us, being teacher or how many universities, they are actually moving towards that, and entire education has become so commercialized and so much, we can say, market driven, that hardly we look at it. Hardly we look at the we emphasize on the critical consciousness, creating critical literacy also. Dr. Saurabh Gupta has rightly pointed out that in the age of misinformation, when we all are facing infodemic, how many institutions, how many teachers, they are actually uh, creating digital literacies, critical consciousness among their students. These all things are very, very important and need to be discussed in the context of Paulo Freire's ideas. And actually, this small book has so much implications, even after so many years have passed, till the divide is there, till the age of misinformation is there, till the trolls are there. We have to discuss upon all these things again and again. And being media educators, we all have responsibility on our shoulders, that we prepare such kind of media persons, that they would, despite being market driven, they would, whenever they will join some media house, they will create such kind of false consciousness. And there are a lot of things that need to be discussed more upon, but time is short, and I think this is enough for today. Dr. Saurabh Gupta, thank you very much for presenting entire things so briefly, succinctly, and so lucidly. Thank you, Dr. Manish, and thank you, Professor Chaudhary, for inviting and organizing this uh, grand series, and putting all the people on one platform, connecting all people on one platform. And I think only you can do that. You can, you are the big organizer, and thank you very much. And congratulations to Professor Pushpendra Pal Singh, and thank you very much, Professor Sahidullah, for connecting an entire team who is behind the